Hi everyone, my name is John Willett. Welcome to Potholes and Cadillac Dreams, the show where I chat about all the potholes I've stepped into, fallen into, found myself surrounded by, and have been able to get out of. It's a story of my life and the many challenges that I've had, and hopefully I will impart some wisdom to you along the way. I hope you liked the introduction. That was our legendary band, the Potholers. I'm sure you've heard of them. They'll be in concert around the country. Hope you will buy the tickets and give me a little residual income. Appreciate that. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about basically things that have happened to me, actual events that have occurred, where I found myself, how I extricated myself, even how I got myself into situations and stayed there for quite a while, unfortunately. I hope you will enjoy them. This is going to be something that is interactive. Should you have any questions, should you have any interests you'd like me to talk about, please give me an email, at least initially. We hope to have other resources available to you. But right now, my email address is lowercase John Willett, JohnWillett 1218 at gmail.com. That's John Willett 1218 at gmail.com. Please drop me a line with any suggestions. If you like our first episode, and keep in mind this is our first episode, we're going to hit a couple potholes along the way, but I figure we're going to hit our stride pretty soon, and then we're going to have a lot of fun. John Willett 1218 at gmail.com. You've written it down. Thank you very much, and I certainly appreciate that. Now, I don't know anything about you. You don't know really anything about me. I thought the best way for us to get to know each other was something that I discovered years ago. I was watching Inside the Actor's Studio with James Lipton. Now, you remember James Lipton. He was, I think, the director. And he had this big, low voice with the dulcet tones. And obviously a voice that I don't have, that I wish I did. And at the end of every program, no matter who the actor or actress was, he would ask them questions that had been invented, written, developed by a gentleman by the name of Bernard Pivot, who had his own series in France, and he would ask his guests these questions after the end of the interview to find out more about them. They're enlightening. They tell a lot about people. I have written down the questions, but I have not written down the answers. They're going to be right off the top of my head. I think that would be the best way for you to get to know me better. And if you'd like to, please again, at johnwillett1218 at gmail.com. Please feel free to submit your answers to these questions. And maybe at the start of episode number 2, maybe the best couple we'll go through before we hit any of our topics. All right, let me grab my notes very, very quickly. And we will start with question number 1. What is your favorite word? My favorite word is love. That is easy. I love being told that I love you. I love telling people I love them. I've been very, very fortunate in my life to have quite a few loves in my life. I am very fortunate right now to be madly in love with my wife. She really is my soulmate. She's the one that brings me incredible amounts of joy and happiness every single day. Do we have our challenges? Absolutely. I think every couple does. But the great part about being with your soulmate is it's almost an unspoken agreement. You work through whatever challenges they are, and then you come on the other side even stronger than ever. So the word that I most love is love. What is your least favorite word? Crazy. Isn't that, you would think it would be hate. I don't know why, but you'd think it'd be hate. But the word crazy has always bothered me somewhat because of the connotation where someone might not, might do something, say something, be part of something that other people would think is wrong, disturbing, whatever you want to say. I'm not a real fan of that word. In the proper context, I guess it's okay, but in the context of describing another human being and what they're doing and what they're thinking and whatever, I think it's not my favorite word. It's a word that I really do not like and do not appreciate. And in a lot of cases, and I'm digressing for about a half a second here, in a lot of cases, those people that we would deem, quote, crazy, it was genetic. It wasn't their fault. It was they were born with some sort of mental affliction, and it's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. And some of the folks that I've seen that have mental disabilities are the happiest people in the whole wide world, and for them to be called crazy disturbs me a great deal. So that would be my answer to number 2. So it's love and it's crazy. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, and emotionally? Creatively is when and unfortunately, as you will find out throughout our 52 weeks, I have had creative moments where I have started businesses, moved places, fallen in love with people, and it's just been kind of a creative type of thing, and it hasn't worked out. I've done a lot of things business-wise that sitting down, doodling on a napkin, which are my, absolutely without any shadow of a doubt, is my enemy. Cocktail napkins are my enemy. They should be banned from anywhere within 10 feet of me. They're not good because I tend to grab them and doodle, and when I doodle, I'm in deep, serious trouble and end up being broke. So creatively, it's being alone and having those moments, and I'm sure you do as well, having those moments where, oh, that's a really good idea. Why hadn't I thought of that before? Oh, why don't I try that? Oh, why don't I do this? Oh, where I've always wanted to live? Yeah, it's those moments, those creative moments. What was it? Creatively, spiritually, honestly, I'm a lapsed Catholic. That's to be very honest. I used to be an altar boy, as a matter of fact. I was married in the Catholic Church. My first time. I've been married 3 times. The other 2 I was not married in the church, but my first time was. My first marriage was annulled in the Catholic Church. I haven't been to a Catholic service. Boy, I can't even begin to tell you. It was probably a funeral. But do I believe in God? Yes. Do I believe in a higher power? Yes. It really all depends on how you define it. I mean, I don't know who's right. I don't think any of us do. I mean, there are those of us who have solid opinions as to their belief system and what they fully and totally and completely believe in. I don't. I don't. I just believe that there is a higher power, that this earth of ours, and I'm sure there are many other earths out there, that our earth of ours wouldn't run as well as it does. And let's face it, except for our screw-ups and what we're doing to the environment, our earth runs pretty well. Our human body is an amazing instrument, an amazing vessel, and it's amazing that we function as well as we do. There has to be a higher power involved. There has to be. So I believe in a higher power, but in terms of spiritually, there's not one particular thing that moves me. In terms of emotionally, obviously, we went back to the word love. I mean, that's one emotion that fills me on a daily basis, thinking about my wife. But moments of emotion, I would have to go back to sports. As you see, I'm wearing a DC cap. I'm a DC boy, born and raised in Alexandria, Virginia. For those of you who couldn't see, I'm wearing a DC cap with a red cap with white lettering. It says DC on it. So, DC boy, born and raised, Alexandria, Virginia. My father was fortunate enough to have Washington Redskins season tickets. I also followed, when I was a kid, the Washington Senators and then later the Washington Nationals in baseball. Followed the Washington Bullets, then following the Washington Wizards in basketball. The Washington Capitals in hockey. I would follow college football, college basketball locally. So my biggest thrills were at I would say championship games. So you would have to go back to like 1972 and the Redskins-Cowboys game at RFK Stadium. 82, the Redskins-Cowboys game at RFK Stadium, championship game. The Bullets run in 1977-78 for the NBA championship. Those type of events where you've got a crowd that's just beside themselves at every movement, every positive movement by the team that you're rooting for is greeted with this loud roar. And for those of you that live in DC, hopefully you've at least seen the videos of the stadium shaking during the 1972 and 1982 games. I was there. It was the most amazing, unbelievable feeling in the world. And the crowd shouting, "We want Dallas. We want Dallas." 54,000 people screaming that at the top of their lungs. The stadium shaking. The air was absolutely electric. And I think it was during the 1982 championship game that John Madden said that RFK Stadium was the best place in the whole wide world to watch a football game. I would tend to disagree now. I've been to FedEx Field before I moved to Bar Harbor, and that certainly wasn't the best place to watch football. I happen to think Kansas City, Missouri, and the Kansas City Chiefs home stadium Arrowhead Stadium is probably the best place to watch a football game right now. I think their fans are amazing, but that is for a later broadcast. But kudos to Kansas City fans, wherever you are, because I think you guys are the best NFL fans I've seen, at least lately. Alrighty, we've finished number 3. Number 4, what turns you off? Mean turns me off. Mean, nasty, vicious, cruel, whether it be to human beings, fellow human beings, whether it be to animals, really bothers me. I can't watch an animal being killed or tortured or hurt or anything like that. I have a tough time even with parents chastising children, really powerfully, screaming at them, yelling at them, slapping them. I have a real tough time with that. I really do. It's just one of those things that I just can't get over. I can't watch. Even during a movie, if something happens, it just affects me, unfortunately. What is your favorite curse word? Well, this is where I tell you that, yes, indeed, at some point we're going to be cursing on this show because I consider myself one of the best in terms of cursing. My favorite curse word is fuck. I will give you a concrete example of that. I'm married to a woman from Long Island, New York. And as you know, that is the official state word of the state of New York. She was at her 30th high school reunion, and at the end of that reunion, they had a big party at a guy's bar, a gentleman who had graduated with the class. He owned a bar that was close to the final dinner, and so everybody was over there, and they were partying, raising all kinds of hell and dancing and having a great time. I'm here. I was in Bar Harbor at the time, and I got a text from my wife. While she was dancing and having a good time, she looked over at a wall, and she saw a sign. And she had to run over and take a picture of that sign for me. And the sign read, "Fuck you, you fucking fuck." Now that is a great sign. Not anything you could really wear on a t-shirt, but it's a good sign. So, yes, that's my favorite curse word. I use it a lot. I use it effectively. I know how to put it in strings of sentences. But, of course, my wife takes the cake for that because, well, she's really good at it. Number 6, what sound or noise do you love? The sound of a crowd yelling. Oh my goodness gracious. We covered that previously, but that when a crowd at a sporting event is beside itself with happiness and joy, I'll tell you what, that is the greatest sound in the world. A close second and almost diametrically opposite from that sound would be one of my cats on my lap purring. Really quiet purr. We do have a cat that sounds like a diesel engine when he purrs, but the sound of my cat purring is a very, very close second. I don't know whether you have dogs, cats, any sort of pets, but when your pet or animal is curled up either on your lap or next to you and they're making whatever sound they make, and I can tell you, I'm absolutely certain that what you feel is just relaxed and calm and peaceful and serene, and that's what it makes me. So you've got one extent, this up multi-decibel sound, and then down here is a cat purring. So there you go. What sound or noise do you hate? Crying, screaming, yelling, particularly when someone's in trouble. I don't like it. We've covered that earlier. It just bothers me to no end. I don't like people in pain. I don't like animals in pain. I don't like anybody or anything in pain of any sort. It's just one of those things. I wish I could explain it better than that, but it's kind of how I feel. We're going to turn a page. That's that sound you hear. So I can get you to number 8. I wish I had memorized these, but I didn't. So I hope you forgive me. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt? That one is real easy. When I was 18, I wanted to major in political science at George Mason University. I did graduate from George Mason University. Wanted to major in political science. My father sat me down and said, no, you're going to major in accounting. And I said, I don't like accounting. Why am I going to major in accounting? He said, because I majored in accounting, and if you don't major in accounting, I'm not going to pay for it. Well, that got my attention. So I majored in accounting and hated it. I didn't do as well as I could have because every time I took a government course or history course or anything involving politics, I got A pluses because that is what I loved. As you can see from behind me, I have some bookshelves. On those bookshelves are lots and lots of books. A lot of those books have to do with some sort of political history or politics. I am a political junkie. I love it. I would have loved to have worked at Capitol Hill. I would have loved to have worked with a senator or congressman. I would have loved to have worked with any sort of political organization that would have functioned in Washington, D.C. I would have loved to have done that. Unfortunately, I did not. So I can tell you that the next one is, what profession would you not like to do? That used to be custodian and it used to be janitor. But in the last 4 months that I spent in Bar Harbor, Maine, I was fortunate enough to be the night custodian, one of the night custodians for Mount Desert Island High School. I worked with an amazing group of people. I had a great deal of fun. I enjoyed my job. It was very satisfying. So that is not my answer anymore. It used to be. And a shout out to those folks at MDI High School, janitorial staff, because you guys are the best. I honestly think, speaking of high schools, that it would be teacher, because I think teachers are undervalued. I think teachers are not paid enough. I think teachers are not given enough credit in society. I think teachers deserve more than they have now. I just do. And as a segue, I saw recently on ESPN that there are 3 quarterbacks in the National Football League. And keep in mind, I am as you can tell from the back, I am a football fan and have been all my life. However, paying a quarterback $51 million a year or $50 million or I think it's either $49 or $48 million a year to throw a football is flippin' obscene. That's obscene. There's no word I can think of to describe how ridiculous that is. To be paid $51 million to play a game is ridiculous on its base level. It's just ridiculous. Now, I know there are some of you out there that say, well, that's what the market will accept, and they're entitled to earn as much money as they possibly can. I understand that, but so are teachers. But teachers aren't allowed to do that because the unions can't get enough, and the federal government won't do anything to help, and blah, 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 blah. So teachers deserve a hell of a lot more. NFL quarterbacks deserve a hell of a lot less. And there you go. That's my first opinion. And of course, send your differences of opinion to johnwillett1218@gmail.com. We'll move on. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates? Look who's waiting for you. Look who's waiting for you. That's what I'd like to hear. And I've heard that animals, your pets, are waiting for you when you arrive as well. So the thought of having pets that I've lost and have mourned over be there again to greet me is very cool. Friends, relatives being there to greet me is very cool. I hope that's the case. I think that would be really, really neat if it was. So that's what I would like to hear. Look who's waiting for you. Anyway, moving on, I want to give you just a quick synopsis of what we hope to do in the next few weeks. As I said, I'd like to commit to doing this for 52 weeks. Again, what we're going to try to do is hit potholes in my life that I've stepped into or fallen into or dove headfirst into, how I got out of them or how I did what I did to get to where I am today, which is in Daytona Beach at a brand new house that we moved into last year on April 8th, and in a very happy relationship and very comfortable. So a lot of potholes I've hit, but a lot of potholes I've gotten out of. I hope to help you, and I still have Cadillac dreams. By Cadillac dreams, let me just tell you, the Cadillac of choice is not the one that you see, the huge SUVs. No, my Cadillac is the one that my dad used to drive, which was a big-ass Fleetwood Brougham, one of those big 80s, 90s jobs. Big, huge thing with the custom seats and the tilt steering and the fingertip driving, and the thing could go about 125 miles an hour. And if a tank hit it, the tank would lose. That's how big this thing is. That's my type of Cadillac. That's the one that I dream about. That's the one I hope one day to own. That would be just the greatest thing in the entire world. So that's my Cadillac dream. It always has been. And I'm sure that you have yours as well. It may not be Cadillac. It may be something else. It may not even be a car. It may be a place. It may be whatever. But always hang on to the dreams, because without the dreams, why keep going? Right? Good. Glad you agree with me. So anyway, we are going to have guests, hopefully. I know several people who have evidenced an interest in coming on, but it's not going to be for a little while. I would like to put a shout out to everybody right now that is listening or is watching. There is a lady by the name of Demi Bennett. Bennett. Demi Bennett. Now, there are a few of you out there who will know exactly who I'm talking about. I'm not going to give away too much because I'm not interested in Demi Bennett and her profession so much as I am Demi Bennett and the fact that she is, I think, between 26 and 28 years old and is a tremendous success at her profession. Began her profession when she was 16 years old. I'm sure she stepped in some potholes. I'm sure she's overcome a lot, especially because she wasn't born in this country and had to move here to become the type of success she is. The reason I would love to meet with her and interview her for this program is because I am 67, a male, have stepped in a lot of potholes, and am still working. So that should give you an idea of the bad life choices that I've had along the way. I would love to interview her just to talk about her journey and how she became interested in what she does, how she began what she now does, and then the steps that she had to take, the obstacles she had to overcome, the potholes she had to maybe step through or around in order to become what she has become. So, if any of you know Demi Bennett, that's who I'm interested in talking to. Again, I know some of you went, oh, no. I want to speak to Demi Bennett. That would be a real thrill for me. Okay? So if any of you can help me with that, again, johnwillett1218@gmail.com. And I would appreciate it. In our next episode, what we're hoping to accomplish, let me bring this close to me so that I can read it, because as I said, I'm 67. So I'm old and I deserve to have my script close to me so that I can read what the heck I'm talking about. We're going to talk about family, because my family situation has been interesting. and will be a continuing source of topic on this program. I'm sure you have family issues as well. That's something we can discuss down the road. Places that I've lived. I have lived a few places in my life. All of them have been terrific one way or the other, but all of them had their ups, all of them had their downs. I spent most of my life in the Washington, D.C., Alexandria, Virginia, Springfield, Virginia area, but I have lived in other places as well, and we'll chat about that. My businesses, I have started several, including an association. I have started a cigar store. I had two cigar stores in Springfield and Alexandria. I started the Man Store at Bar Harbor in Bar Harbor, Maine. And there have been other things along the way, including sports networks. We did radio sports networks too. So there's a lot to talk about there. That will be also in upcoming episodes. We'll talk some music, because I have a varied interest in music, as you might be able to see over my shoulder. My shoulder here. There we go. Right behind me, you can probably see that there's several books on Mick Jagger. There's some other books. Keith Richards is back there too. So I've got a varied interest in music. And if we can fit it in, we'll try to do cats as well, because I have 4 and I love them. I love talking about them. And then I want to hear about your pets as well. So we're either going to try to do 6 topics, 5 minutes each, or 5 topics, 6 minutes each. And it really all depends on how well we work this. I think that's a good bit of time on each topic. I don't want to overwhelm anybody. This first one is going to be very hard for me to break apart into smaller sections for our YouTube channel, but from here on in, we should be able to break that up in case you're interested in a certain topic. You'll be able to look that up on YouTube as well as check it out on podcasts. We will have more information. We will have a website very shortly. We will have a dedicated Twitter feed. We will have a dedicated Facebook feed. We will have a dedicated Instagram feed. Until then, I will probably be using my own lines, whatever it's called. Lines. I'm 67, guys. Come on. I can't remember everything. But my Facebook page, my Instagram page, my LinkedIn page, my Twitter page, I'll be using those until we get dedicated pages of our own for the podcast and for the video cast. We will be doing as much social media as we possibly can to get the word out to you all. We want to have a dialogue with you. That's the whole point of this, is for me not only to spout off all my craziness, but for you to kind of spout back and tell me stuff that you're interested in, tell me stuff that interests you, tell me stuff that I could talk about, because goodness only knows I've stepped in enough potholes that I'm sure your topic is one that I could chat about freely for 6 minutes or so. And there you go. Oh, one last thing. You notice the hat that's on here. I have a huge collection of caps. So what we're going to do from here on in is we're going to have a cap on for each topic. So that means that we'll be able to split this up. We talked about music. So there we go. There we go. That's Marty Stewart right there. That's a cap. And then this is an old cap here. I'm still trying to learn my thing here. Bruce Springsteen, the E Street Band. And for cats, see, since I'm in Daytona Beach, you gotta love the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's the only cat thing I have. I used to have a cap with a black cat on it, but I can't find it. But hopefully I'll find it before the next broadcast. And I know those of you listening to the podcast are going, well, we can't see the caps. Trust me, there are caps involved, and it's a great thing. So we're going to try to do a cap and then a couple more. This one right here. I know that's bad, but that's one of my favorite caps. It's a 3-time Super Bowl champion Washington Redskins cap. There you go. And this was a hint. Oh, no, we'll save that hint for next week. And then we talked about the Man Store Bar Harbor, so there you go. There's the Man Store Bar Harbor for you. And there you go. So, guys, it's been about 30 minutes. We appreciate you hanging in there with us for this first podcast. We're going to try to drop them on Fridays so that you can be with us and you'll know when we're coming. And if that changes, I certainly will try to let you know as best I can. Again, thank you for being part of the first Potholes and Cadillac Dreams podcast. Thank you for watching us on the video cast. I look forward to getting to know you guys, and hopefully it will be a whole lot of fun. I thank you all very much. I hope you're having a great day wherever you are, and look forward to talking to you again.